All right, Shalom. Kolo Yal Bashim Yoshai Bashim Kakudash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the elect. All right. This is just going to be, a quick lesson, all right, on Genesis 32. All right. I think, the title of it was going to be How Bad Do You Want It? All right. And I'm going to just start at the top, because there's a few things that take place in this chapter, and then we'll end up getting a point later on. All right. So starting at verse 1. All right. Genesis chapter 32, verse 1. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of Yahweh met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is Yahweh's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanam. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob saith this, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks, and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight." And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him." And, this is really the same thing that's happening today. It's just escalated on a higher vibration. You have to get a driver's license in order to travel. Like how our forefather Jacob did, sent the messengers. Now Esau has all of these wicked and unrighteous decrees, that we have to go to him and ask him, the same way before, can I have grace in your sight? All right. And ultimately, we're still rejected, in a sense, for the time being, because we're still in captivity. We're still subject to his laws. We have to do things according to how he says we have to do them, to an extent, of course. All right. And but the difference is, especially in these times, all right, which we're going to continue reading, but especially in these times, man, we have the Lord with us, man. All right. And we'll read, as it's about to go into, we're in the same spirit as our forefather Jacob, right? Because we're still under that vexation, we just, trying to go about our goings, if you will, and we got to deal with this damn devil. All right. Verse 7, then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. And that's spiritual. Do we not do the same things today? We might have 2 different bank accounts. You might use one, to put certain money away, or you might not use the bank at all. You might, have a certain stash spot for certain things, and just, vainly speaking, it's all spiritual now. All right, the same way it was before, but being, wise, all right, through the Spirit, all right, we make the best decision, right? All right, well, let's prepare, we if you see evil coming, you don't just stay in the midst of it, right? Verse 9, and Jacob said, "O power of my father Abraham, and power of my father Isaac, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which saidest unto me, the Lord Yahweh which saidest unto me, return unto thy country, and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast shewed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou saidest, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the seed of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." Hey, and it's the same thing today, all right? But the Spirit has increased within us, all right? Where, we fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and it don't matter what Esau does, man. Like, as an example, in the book of Maccabees, the 7 sons, And we know Jacob didn't, fear Esau. It was just like, hey, well, I fear he's gonna, damn, he might, do the same today. You never know what these devils are gonna do, and we don't fear him per se, but you might be in a situation, be like, guns drawn, damn, hey, Baruch Shah, Baruch Shah, Baruch Shah, throw up that prayer. I fear he might, you know what I mean? But we fear Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. And the same thing that our forefather Jacob did, the same thing we're doing today. All right. That's why it says in Isaiah, plead with me. All right. Let me see if I could grab it. It's in Isaiah. Salakia, give me a second. Let us plead together. Oh, there it is. Put me in remembrance. Yep. Isaiah 43:26. Put me in remembrance. Let us plead together. Declare thou that thou mayest be justified. Right. And, that's the same thing we're doing, man. All right. The same way our forefather, all right, Jacob said in verse 11, deliver me. It's the same way we doing today, man. Day in and day out, week in and week out, going out prophesying, doing our digital, putting forth those epistles, hitting the highways and hedges, praying and fasting, and, our works, man, having that faith and works, man. All right. And, it's only through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that we will be delivered. Lord's will be those men. All right. Starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right. Verse 13. And he lodged there that same night. Hey, and matter of fact, and Esau's in that same spirit, man. All right. War is still in his heart. Right. He's still in that. That's why it says, never trust thine enemy. All right. In Sirach 12, man. All right. Because he's in that same mindset today, man. You can't even keep this devil at arm's length, if you will. You got to keep this guy far away from you, man. And that's why he's going to be obliterated off the face of the earth, man. All right. Because his wickedness, man, that iron that rusteth, man. All right. What do they say? As a looking glass? Let's grab it. Sirach 12 and 11. All right. Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take. Matter of fact, I got to start at verse 10. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Exactly, man. He's going to do the same. He's the same guy, man. All right. The same, that spirit that's not upright within him, man. That is that same spirit that's been operating, man. All right. Verse 13, and he lodged there that same night and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother, 200 she-goats and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 kin and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses and 10 foals, and he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau, and we have this plenty of times, all right, in scriptures, where you would present, like a gift or offering or a piece, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was plenty of times where this occurred. All right, but let's continue so that way we could, get to the point. Verse 17, he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third and all that followed the drove, saying, on this manner shall you speak unto Esau when you find him. So he's setting him out, and really that was just the spirit on him, to deal wisely. All right, in this particular instance, the same way when we have our dealings with Esau, we deal wisely, man. You got brothers that, have found favor in their jobs, in their communities, with Esau's law enforcement, with their neighbors, whatever the case is, man. But we also know we can't keep that devil nowhere near us, man. Even being surrounded by it, man. All right. Verse 20, and say ye moreover, behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face, peradventure he will accept of me. You see that being wise, man. Let me go ahead and present this to you, and Adawan Ratazah, you'd be at peace, so that way it ain't, you coming with all these men, all right? Verse 21, so went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. All right. So he, had everybody go about their business, just being wise in the midst of that situation. All right. In verse 24, and Jacob was left alone. And this is the point, of how bad do you want it? All right. You might have a situation, where you got to throw prayers up, or, make amends, or, or be humble. That's what our forefather Jacob was doing in this case, man. Throwing up the prayers to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, displaying his humility, doing that which was necessary, in order, keeping his house in order, right? Providing instructions to servants, would it say, set thine house in order, all right? Especially in these times, right? Because we understand that the circumstances, of the lifestyle, the witchcraft, the enchantments, all those things, all right, are different today. All right. 2 Ezra 14:13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Exactly, man, because the wickedness is all around us, man. All right. All hell is breaking loose, and really about to really break loose, man, because really we're not seeing nothing just yet, compared to what we're about to, enter into. All right. Boom, let's get to it. Genesis 32:24, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. All right. So, man, our forefather Jacob, this is why the scripture says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This is just one beautiful example, right? Because imagine your thigh being out of place. We all know, in some way, shape, or form, somebody who's had what they call it, hip replacement, and, even like a broken bone, out of socket, and, things of that nature, man. So, just imagine this, man, the strength and the spiritual will to keep, fighting, to keep, nah, man, and verse 25, and when he saw that he prevailed not against him, all right, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. Our forefather Jacob's will was so strong, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I got to do something to, get the upper hand, man. Let me go ahead and pop this man's thigh out of joint, man. All right. And verse 26, and he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. You see that? All right. And, I say all of that to say this, because remember, you might go through instances dealing with Esau. You might go through instances where you have to separate from your family. Right. He, being wise, he sent, his servants and the wives and the children such on their way, or, across, whatever the case is. But I'm using that as an spiritual example today, right? We have to deal with Esau. We got to deal with the BS. We never know what that devil might try to throw at us. We might have to deal with situations with women, with families, with your living environment. That this whole chapter goes into a lot of different areas that spiritually we could take into consideration today on how you might have to make adjustments, and still keep pushing through it. Just like our forefather Jacob did, man. He's going through all this. He's dealing with the vexation of Esau. He's dealing with having, to provide leadership, send his servants this way, wives, you do this, yada, 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 all these different things. All right. And then he's at the moment where he could get rest. All right. And then bam, you're not even getting rest, you know. You ain't even getting rest because now, you had, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you had the opportunity to wrestle with the angel. All right. But it's just beautiful, man, because like I said, man, how bad do you want it? This is how bad you have to want it, dealing with Esau's BS every single day, dealing with your family, your household, your job, your labor, whatever it is, man, having to make certain decisions that will, make you uncomfortable. Sirach 2, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right. And still being willing to fight through it. That's the only way we're going to make it to the end, man. Genesis 32:25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And is that not the same thing today, man? The Lord will place us in situations, rough us up a little bit, man. What will they say? Let me get it. Trying of your faith. All right, James. James 1:3-4. No, actually. Verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. All right. And ultimately, the trying of our faith, is working patience on a daily basis. When you see that, when you see ETH on the end of a word, in the English language, if I recall correctly, it means a continuation. Right. So it's working, right? That the trying of your faith is working that patience, and verse 4, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And really, when is that going to take place, man? When we get beamed up, that's when it's going to be perfected, because we've went through these trying, situations. All right. And we've continued, by faith and the execution of our works to endure to the end through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. All right. Hey, and the Lord will do that, man. He'll see how you're gonna act if you get sickness, man. All right. He'll see, how you respond. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, right? Philippians, I believe, in everything give thanks, right? So he'll see how you're gonna. I believe it's Philippians, Salakia, Thessalonians. All right. I don't know why I always say Philippians for this verse, Salakia. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. At everything give thanks. All right. In everything, right? For this is the will of Yahweh and Hamashiach Yahushai concerning you. That's the way it's supposed to be, man. All right. And that's what it's going to be. All right. So in these situations, man, all right, how are you responding? Are you still being spiritually willing and abounding? Or are you falling right into it, man? Our apostle Paul, that thorn in the flesh, plenty of other examples, man. All right. Jonah. All right. Isaiah. I mean, plenty of examples, man. All right. Yahushai, when he went through, what did he say? My power, why hast thou forsaken me? So you might get put through, so much or just enough. It doesn't matter. Still spiritual in the sense of the equation. Of our lots. All right. Hey, but the point is, are you gonna prevail? Are you gonna keep pushing, man? Whether it's your bones out of socket, whether it's your life on the line, your children, like I may mention the Maccabees, the 7 sons, different examples, man. All right, Daniel, I mean, we could, the list could go on, man. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, But let's continue. Genesis 32:25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, no more Yahweh, but Yasharallah. For as a prince hast thou power with Yahweh and with men, and has prevailed. You see that? Hey, man, so are we going to be in the same spirit of our forefather, man? All right? Having to deal with Esau, having to deal with household issues, job issues, with it, those other things, and then having to deal with those spiritual battles, right? Are you going to prevail, man? Are you allowing, that process to take place of the trying of your faith, man? All right. Verse 29, and Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. All right. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Yahweh face to face, and my life is preserved. All right. And that's the point, man. All right. That's really the point, man. So as verse 28 says, all right. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with Yahweh and with men, and has prevailed. All right. So like I made mention, about the title, about the title of this lesson, basically how bad do you want it, man? As we read, going through all those different situations, having the opportunity to possibly get rest, and then having to go through a spiritual battle, and not just one, but multiple. Are you gonna be spiritually willing to prevail, man? All right, and I'll just get one more. All right, I believe it's 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. Just because it falls right in line. All right, 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. And I'll start at verse 6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. All right, and that point being verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. All right. So are you going to prevail like our forefather? Or, hey, man, are you just going to give up? So words all yours edified. In closing, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chak, double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the elect. Shalom.